Welcome back to my channel. Today we will learn about the issue unfolding in CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful, specifically regarding Carter's decision to return Forrester creations to Ridge and the impact this choice has on Hope, Brooke, and the rest of the Forrester family. Recently, an important conversation took place between Brooke Logan and Carter Walton, touching upon Carter's history in Los Angeles and how Eric Forrester and Ridge Forrester originally supported him when he was new in town. Brooke reminded Carter of how, from his early days, Eric and Ridge saw his talent, recognized his dedication, and rewarded his hard work, eventually helping him move into the position of Chief Operating Officer at Forrester Creations. This status and substantial income changed Carter's life dramatically, giving him not just a career but also a sense of belonging and purpose. Yet as time went on, Carter made a choice that has weighed heavily on his conscience, betraying the trust Eric and Ridge placed in him by orchestrating a takeover of Forrester Creations. This act shocked many people who had seen Carter as a straight-laced, responsible professional who understood the value of loyalty. When Carter moved against Eric and Ridge, it disrupted the company's leadership structure and caused serious rifts among employees and family members alike. Although some might argue that Carter was encouraged by others to seize power, the fact remains that he ultimately went through with it. He took control of Forrester Creations, effectively sidelining Eric and Ridge. For someone like Carter, known for personal integrity, the action never sat well with him. While he enjoyed the authority and a greater level of command, deep within himself he felt guilt over having turned on the very people who paved his way to success. For a while, Carter tried to rationalize his actions. The fashion industry is competitive, and power shifts are not unheard of at Forrester Creations, where the family drama often intertwines with the business. Yet no matter how Carter tried to justify his decision, the betrayal of Eric and Ridge loomed large in his mind. His interactions with his friends and co-workers became increasingly strained, and he sensed that many people looked at him differently, some out of fear, some out of disappointment, and some out of confusion about how a once devoted employee could orchestrate such a coup. Meanwhile, Carter's personal life became just as complicated as his professional one. Hope Logan, who shared Carter's ambition to shape Forrester Creations into an even bigger global fashion powerhouse, was thrilled to stand beside Carter as he exercised control over the prestigious company. Hope believed that Carter's modern ideas, coupled with her passion for design and brand expansion, could catapult Forrester Creations to new heights. In her eyes, the fact that Carter had wrested ownership from Eric and Ridge was less of a moral issue and more of a practical step forward for innovation and expansion. She saw progress and creativity, anticipating a future where she and Carter could see their grand visions come to life on runways around the world. However, Brooke's words to Carter changed everything. She gently yet firmly reminded him of the weight of gratitude he should carry for Eric and Ridge. It was they who saw his potential, took a chance on him, and integrated him into a family-run company where personal bonds often overlap with the business side. Brooke pointed out that no matter how many expansions or successes Carter could claim, those accomplishments would always be overshadowed by the sense that he had betrayed the very men who stood by him from the start. The conversation was not meant to condemn Carter for ambition, but to spark reflection on how loyalty, trust, and respect shape the Forrester legacy. Carter emerged from that talk with Brooke determined to right the wrong. He realized that his attempts to become the top figure at Forrester Creations had eaten away at his conscience for too long. Regardless of how profitable the company might become under his watch, the moral toll was one he could no longer pay. Seeing Brooke's sincere concern and recalling Eric and Ridge's mentorship, Carter decided to take the bold step of returning Forrester Creations to the rightful hands of the Forrester family. He knew the magnitude of this action. After all, the company was already under his control, and along with Hope, he had charted a course for aggressive expansion. But Carter could not deny that Brooke's insight made him see things more clearly, continuing down the path of disloyalty would forever tarnish both his professional and personal identity. When Carter announced to Hope that he planned to hand Forrester Creations back to Ridge, her reaction was immediate and intense. She had been working at Carter's side to elevate the brand and had pinned much of her personal ambition on the partnership she shared with him. Just a couple of weeks prior, Hope and Carter had set grand targets for the fashion house, envisioning new markets, new lines, and a new era of undisputed industry dominance. To hear Carter say that he wanted to reverse everything and restore ownership to Ridge struck Hope as not just a betrayal of their shared plans, but a puzzling reversal of Carter's recent stance. In her eyes, this was not just about professional pride, it was deeply personal. She felt blindsided and undermined. Hope confronted Carter, insisting that this abrupt decision was reckless and threatened everything they had worked for. She viewed Eric and Ridge as figures from a previous generation of leadership, while Carter and Hope represented a more modern, daring approach that could launch the company to worldwide supremacy. Giving the company back to Ridge seemed, to Hope, like a step backward, a surrender to the old guard rather than forging a new future. In her frustration, Hope delivered an ultimatum: if Carter insisted on returning Forrester Creations to Ridge, she would walk away from him forever. This was a harsh line in the sand, reflecting how deeply she felt about the matter. She believed Carter was turning his back on everything they had built and, more importantly, the future they were poised to create together. But Carter stood firm. The guilt over betraying Eric and Ridge, the influence of Brooke's heartfelt words, and the realization that some lines simply should never have been crossed pushed him to follow through with the transition. While he still cared deeply about Hope, he could not continue carrying the burden of having stolen the company. He proceeded with the legal processes and formalities required to transfer control of Forrester Creations back to Ridge and, by extension, to Steffi Forrester, who was also integral to the Forrester family's leadership. The turnover was a major event, reversing a situation that had become a huge source of tension. The aftermath of Carter's decision was swift and dramatic. Hope felt betrayed, disillusioned, and furious. She had believed their visions for the company to be mutually shared, and now she saw Carter undermining those dreams. Their relationship, already under stress from the complexities of running a major fashion house, took a sharp turn for the worse. As she had promised, Hope was prepared to leave Carter if he went through with the transfer. She was not bluffing. For her, there was no middle ground: either Carter retained control of Forrester Creations, or they would split up, each going their separate way. Carter, on the other hand, was surprisingly resolute. While losing Hope was painful, his conscience demanded that he undo the damage he had done to Eric and Ridge. When Ridge learned of Carter's gesture, he was astonished. After all the turmoil, he found it hard to believe Carter would voluntarily relinquish the power he had seized, especially given how well Carter seemed to be doing in charge. Ridge took time to reflect on the significance of the move. The resentment and anger he had felt toward Carter began to melt away, replaced by gratitude. Carter's willingness to rectify his betrayal said a lot about his character and the lesson he had learned. Ridge, appreciative of the remorse Carter displayed, decided not to punish him. Instead, he accepted Carter's offer, reclaimed the leadership of Forrester Creations, and suggested that Carter remain as COO, a position Carter had originally held before any of the betrayal and takeover ever happened. In Ridge's eyes, forgiving Carter was not just an act of grace, but also a recognition of the value Carter could bring to the company. Ridge had once trusted Carter implicitly, and maybe that trust could be rebuilt. Steffi Forrester, Ridge's daughter, also had reason to review her stance on Carter. She knew all too well the intricacies of family and business, and how betrayal cuts deep among the Forresters. Initially, she might have harbored anger toward Carter for turning on her father and her grandfather. Still, seeing Carter's remorse made her reconsider. Restoring Carter to COO status could simplify the continuity of business operations, retain a skilled manager, and reinforce a sense of closure on this whole power struggle chapter. From a strategic viewpoint, Carter understood the corporate mechanisms, the complexities of legal affairs, and the day-to-day nuances that come with running such an influential design house. Pushing him out completely, after he had shown sincere regret, could prove counterproductive in the long run. Brooke, for her part, was relieved that Carter listened to her advice. She had not intended to manipulate him so much as guide him toward doing the right thing. In the end, her plea catalyzed Carter's decision to let go of his ill-gotten power. Ridge recognized Brooke's role in helping Carter realign his priorities, and this gratitude could not help but stir feelings that Ridge had long associated with Brooke. Their shared history is legendary. They have weathered storms of heartbreak, infidelity, misunderstandings, and family feuds for years. Now, with Brooke once again demonstrating loyalty to Ridge and protecting the family's best interests, there are whispers that he might be drawn back to her, perhaps at the expense of his relationship with Taylor Hayes. Taylor, who has long vied for Ridge's affections in an on-again, off-again saga, may find herself once again overshadowed by Brooke's undeniable connection with Ridge. The question arises, will Ridge set aside his feelings for Taylor to reunite with Brooke, possibly re-establishing the bridge relationship that so many viewers have followed over decades of The Bold and the Beautiful's run? The scenario sets the stage for another potential love triangle, one of the enduring hallmarks of the show. Ridge's closeness to Brooke after this entire fiasco may well reignite the spark between them, hinting at yet another pivot in the romantic storyline that has defined both characters for so long. Of course, Taylor's response to any possible shift in Ridge's heart remains to be seen. She has been through endless battles with Brooke over Ridge's affections, and her hopes of building a stable future with him continually run aground whenever he drifts back toward Brooke. Even if the Forrester family remains grateful to Brooke for guiding Carter, Taylor would view a renewed Brooke-Ridge union as yet another betrayal. Fans of the show know that the matter of Ridge's devotion has always been a key question. Is he truly able to leave Brooke behind and commit to Taylor, or does Brooke hold a permanent piece of his heart that inevitably pulls him back to her? Amid these personal entanglements, the business climate at Forrester Creations seems poised to return to its familiar structure. Eric Forrester has long been the patriarch, and though he sometimes steps back to let Ridge and Steffi run the show, he remains an influential figure whose approval carries tremendous weight. With Ridge back in control and Carter restored to COO, the company can regain the stability it lost. Many of the employees who looked on nervously as Carter took control may find themselves breathing easier, knowing they can return to the atmosphere they once knew. Still, the memory of Carter's betrayal will not vanish overnight. Rebuilding trust takes time. Eric, for his part, may have mixed emotions. A portion of him might still feel hurt and betrayed, while another part might see Carter's remorse as a chance to re-establish a beneficial working relationship. After all, Eric has a forgiving nature when it comes to family and those he considers part of the Forrester circle, and that circle, while complicated, can be surprisingly resilient. Meanwhile, Hope, who pinned her professional and emotional aspirations on Carter's continued leadership, faces a crossroad. She threatened to leave Carter if he returned the company to Ridge, and he did. The heartbreak of having their shared ambitions sidelined may well drive her to reassess her entire involvement with Carter and Forrester Creations. She must decide if the love she has for Carter, or once had, is enough to weather this deep disappointment. On the surface, her stance has been clear: she passionately disagrees with Carter's about-face. Yet, the question remains whether she can walk away so easily from everything she has invested in the relationship. Hope loves the idea of continuing to push Forrester Creations to greater heights, but she also once admired Carter for his integrity. Now that Carter has reclaimed that integrity by returning the company, might she eventually recognize the nobility of his decision, even if it derailed their plans? Or is she so entrenched in her frustration that the rift between them cannot be mended? This development also ripples across other characters in the show. Steffi, who is typically a major stakeholder in Forrester Creations' direction, must come to terms with the fact that Carter originally usurped the family business, but has now returned it. She may see this as a demonstration of genuine repentance on his part. Liam Spencer, who often hovers around Hope's storylines, could have his own perspective on Carter's actions and how they affect Hope's future. Thomas Forrester, too, might have something to say about the corporate structure shifting yet again. The entire extended cast is bound to have differing takes on Carter's turnaround and what it means for the company's evolution. Gratitude toward Carter may color Ridge's decisions going forward, and that gratitude extends, by association, to Brooke. Whether that gratitude blooms into renewed passion remains an open question, one that fans will watch with great interest. The show has a rich tradition of shifting alliances and rekindled romances, and few dynamics are as iconic in The Bold and the Beautiful as the Ridge-Brooke-Taylor triangle. Viewers who have followed them for years know that it only takes a single spark to reignite old flames. As for Carter, the process of redemption is ongoing. While one grand gesture, returning the company, goes a long way to mend the relationship with Ridge, Carter cannot erase the betrayal overnight. Some of the staff may still eye him warily, uncertain if they can trust him again. He might have to prove his loyalty to the Forresters all over, showing that he is once more the diligent COO everyone relied upon. This will require consistent dedication, open communication, and a willingness to accept any lingering resentment that results from his earlier actions. Carter's journey demonstrates how easy it can be to lose sight of moral bearings when power and ambition come into play, and how challenging it can be to reclaim that moral ground after a fateful choice. Meanwhile, it also puts a strain on Carter's romantic life with Hope. Having faced such a serious disagreement, they stand on a precipice. Can they reconcile, or does this represent the definitive end of their relationship? If Hope stays true to her ultimatum, Carter could find himself alone, having sacrificed not only control of Forrester Creations, but also the woman he loves. That is a heavy toll to pay, even for peace of mind and moral redemption. Perhaps the heartbreak of losing Hope becomes Carter's punishment for his initial betrayal. Or perhaps their bond survives if Hope eventually recognizes Carter did the right thing by honoring the people who once mentored him. The storyline leaves such possibilities open-ended, fueling fan speculation about what will happen next. All eyes remain on Ridge's reaction to Brooke's wise counsel and her moral support in the midst of these business turmoils. If Ridge feels a surge of renewed admiration for Brooke, Taylor may once again find herself on shaky ground, worried that Ridge's heart belongs with his longtime muse. The Bold and the Beautiful often hinges on these complicated emotional webs. Nobody is ever entirely secure in their relationships, as old flames and unresolved emotions surface unpredictably. The drama, therefore, is layered, not just about business conflict, but about personal loyalties and shifting emotional landscapes. Eric, in the background, can breathe somewhat easier with the knowledge that Forrester Creations returns to its foundational leadership. Though he might harbor lingering disappointment in Carter, Eric's compassionate nature could lead him to accept Carter's apology and allow the man a chance to demonstrate genuine contrition. If the father figure of Forrester Creations can forgive Carter, it sets a precedent for others to do so as well. In such a close-knit organization, acceptance from the patriarch counts for a lot. Ultimately, Eric might even extend a guiding hand to ensure Carter remains steadfast in the right path, mirroring the mentorship Eric provided at the start of Carter's career. Going forward, Forrester Creations might experience a revival of the original collaboration that made it so successful in the first place. Ridge, Steffi, Eric, and now a redeemed Carter could steer the company with renewed commitment to innovation and artistry. Though the tensions remain, particularly for Hope, there is hope for a fresh beginning. If personal feuds subside, the Forrester brand could flourish in ways that align with the family spirit upon which it was built. Challenges, of course, will continue to arise. Conflicts are part and parcel of the show's enduring appeal, and the interplay between business success and personal entanglements is precisely what keeps viewers hooked. As audiences watch these developments, they are reminded of the central question that has always driven The Bold and the Beautiful: how do characters balance ambition, loyalty, and love in a high-stakes environment? Carter's reversal underscores the value the show places on redemption narratives. It also spotlights how quickly fortunes can change in this world, where alliances shift on a dime, power struggles erupt spontaneously, and love triangles perpetually loom in the background. With Carter handing back the reins of Forrester Creations, we come full circle, returning to a time when the Forresters run their family business, only now there is a new appreciation for the fragility of trust and the importance of humility. Hope's ultimatum, Brooke's influence, Ridge's gratitude, Taylor's uncertainty, these all conspire to weave a tapestry of intrigue. Despite her heartbreak, Hope must decide whether Carter's atonement has any meaning to her. Despite his restored position, Carter must work to prove that this is no fleeting moment of contrition but a genuine commitment to mend the relationships he damaged. Ridge, suddenly back in the seat of power, might find his own heart tested once again by the renewed closeness with Brooke, who effectively set Carter on the path of redemption. And Taylor, left to wonder whether her long-standing competition with Brooke is about to begin anew, will brace herself for the possibility of another disappointment at Ridge's hands. Taken together, these plot points make it clear that The Bold and the Beautiful remains true to its reputation, combining the glamour of the fashion world with the twists and turns of complicated personal relationships. At the heart of this narrative stands a question of loyalty and whether any betrayal, no matter how dire, can be undone by a sincere act of apology and restitution. Carter's decision to turn over the company indicates that redemption, while never easy, is not beyond reach. It also teaches a lesson about gratitude and remembering one's roots, something that resonates powerfully within the Forrester universe. While fans anticipate the fallout from Hope's anger, the gratitude of Ridge, and the uncertain romantic future that might bring Brooke and Ridge closer again, the show's trademark suspense lingers. No one can predict precisely how the next chapter will unfold. Yet for now, Forrester Creations returns to the family that built it, and Carter's moral correction stands as a testament to the idea that it's never too late to do the right thing. Still, The Bold and the Beautiful would not be the iconic soap it is if everything neatly resolved itself. The heartbreak, the romance, and the business maneuverings will continue, shaping the characters' paths in new and unexpected ways. Stay tuned as the aftermath of Carter's decision continues to ripple through everyone's lives, and join us in waiting to see whether Ridge ultimately reunites with Brooke, if Carter can regain Hope's trust, and whether the Forrester family can hold itself together as new challenges inevitably appear on the horizon.